Hello and welcome to the Max Revenue Show. I'm your host, Trey Shields, aka the mediocre producer, along with the Zen Master. Why is this not working? The Zen Master of Commercial Insurance, Micah Salas. Micah, how are you this morning?
Amazing. Couldn't be better.
Couldn't be better. You didn't have anything really weird to say that made me uncomfortable?
I figured I'd take it easy on you. This episode will come up with enough of those nuggets that will that will make you feel uncomfortable.
Yes, with today's topic, we're going super deep and gushy and mushy and all the stuff that makes me feel uncomfortable. All right, so I saw something this weekend, and I was like, you know what? We need to do something on that. It was a pretty good little YouTube video that I watched, and so I decided it'd be a good topic. So back in the day, there was this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Mr. Dale Carnegie. And there's a particular part in it, part 2, I believe, is called 6 Ways to Make People Like You. And we're going to do that, but producer version. But before we get into that, shout out to Rob and the boys at Insurance XDate. Insurance XDate, the greatest CRM / lead gen software on the internet. Let me pull this up here. Let's go to, I was ill prepared. Uno momento, por favor. Insurance XDate. Insurance XDate is where new business begins. Industry relevant data, i.e. XDates, and a lot of other stuff. Delivered on a software platform built for sales, not research. Identify and engage with prospects in minutes. Keep track of your opportunities and get production done. You can try it for free, little test run. Link in the description of this podcast and or YouTube video, however you're consuming it. Can't recommend it enough. Mike and I use it on a daily basis. We actually both use it as our CRM as well. We've used it long before they ever became a sponsor of this podcast. I believe I actually originally reached out to them probably about 2 years ago. And so yeah, we reached out to them, not the other way around. We've been using them for a long time before they ever even knew these two idiots existed. So go check it out. Link in the show notes. All right, now let's get into the meat and taters of this thing. Let me pull up the little thing here. All right. Oop, that's my keto on the go cheat sheet. Wrong one. Pulling up the notes tab. Nah, I'm just doing low carb.
Oh, okay. Should do macro counting.
Another interesting thing I read was or consumed this weekend of this long Labor Day weekend was the mental health benefits of low carb lifestyle, low carb keto. Long story short. And with 5 kids and all the things in life, any edge I can get, I'm looking for. And so I'm just running like a little experiment on like cutting out sugars and refined carbohydrates and like how that affects my mood, anxiety, stress, all that stuff, sleep. So I'll report back to you on that. All right. 6 ways to make people like you, according to Dale Carnegie. Number 1, become genuinely interested in other people. Number 2, smile. Number 3, remember that a person's name is the sweetest sound they'll ever hear. 4, be a good listener. 5, talk in terms of the other person's interests. And number 6, make the other person feel important and mean it. So I guess first of all, let's start off with why are these things even important for us as producers? And then let's jump into number 1 and how it pertains to us.
Yeah, let me start with a little story quick because I actually did a YouTube short on this. But this is a true story from I think like a month ago. I had an old client that I had left at my former agency, and it got ceded to a friend of mine. So we stayed in touch randomly, but I didn't actually pursue the account back because I was like, they were like, we love blah, blah, blah. He's the best ever. It's amazing. Right. And so fast forward this year, I get just word from a connection that like, hey, so-and-so just AOR'd your buddy and went with a different agency altogether. And he, my contact was just kind of shocked. He's like, did you get it back? I was like, nope. But I was surprised, right? Because I was like, dude, they love this guy. They might have liked him more than me, we're just too nice to say it to me. But anyways, so I called my friend and I was like, hey man, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. He said, yeah, and he told me the story. And I was like, if you want, I can reach out to the client, just kind of play dumb and see like what happened. Like, why did he leave? And I won't get into all the details on this, but the reason this story is relevant here is, so I called my guy back. I haven't talked to him in like 2 years. I was like, hey man, what's up? And he's like, yeah, we left. I heard you probably heard we left, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, what happened? And he told me the story. There's a couple things. But one of the things was, he's like, well, remember when you won our business back in like, 2018, 17, you came in here, you did that due diligence and you presented and then we went with you, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, we had some guys do that here. Came in, did all that, pointed out some things. Plus there's all these other things that we're kind of thinking about. And we actually didn't go with them. We went with a different agent. And he's like, because basically these two guys were like two frat bros and I couldn't stand them, didn't like them at all. And so I called my buddy who owns another company in my industry. He gave me his agent's name and I went with them, But he's like, I just felt like we had to do something. But the moral of the story is these guys did all this work. The two guys who did all the work to try to break up the relationship with my friend, I guess you could say, didn't get the deal because they weren't likable, obviously, right? The owner was like, yeah, like I said, he literally said they were two frat bros and I couldn't stand them. Yes, I didn't want to work with them. So the hard part is you don't want to change who you are necessarily. You can't try to go appeal to everybody, but there is like to the whole recording this episode, there is a skill of being likable, I think, and kind of it's a skill set, right? So anyways, I thought that was an interesting story. I don't like the word make, like that Dale Carnegie uses, how to make people like you. I just don't think that's, to me, it kind of sounds manipulative, I think it should be a genuine deal. So
I think that's on purpose, right? Because it's kind of like
Sure.
grab you by the short hairs. I don't think he would advocate for that. I think it's more of like just it's just copywriting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
get it.
Because I think actually once you get into it, it's pretty obvious that the whole thing behind getting people to like you is about actually being genuine yourself. And then a byproduct is people can't help but be attracted to you. So go ahead.
So you kind of led right into what I was going to say is what checks all these boxes, smiling, being interested, asking questions, is actually to like them genuinely, right? to not fake like you're liking this person or whatever, but to show like, oh, wow, this is interest. Hey, here's another human. I'm talking to him. Maybe I should pay attention, look him in the eye. Like, this is a human being, both created by the same God, right? So it's like,
oh, here we go.
Uh-oh. But anyways, so I'm not even going to use all the language that I think on this because I don't want to scare you people who are, maybe at different levels or have different views on things. But that's honestly would solve everything. If you viewed every person as like literally a legit human being and just sat and just took that in for just a second, it would fix all these other things. Second to that, I think this isn't to be said in a egotistical way about yourself or narcissistic way, but you have to, if you don't like yourself, you're probably not going to like other people a lot, right? Or they're going to trigger, you're going to see some things and like, this guy's effing annoying, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's probably something that you're dealing with internally that you just don't like about yourself, you haven't dealt with. So,
dang, that's a dagger right there. I'm not a big people person. So I've really felt that one.
Yeah, but triggers are teachers, man. This is one thing I've been on for the last couple months. Like, it's huge. Like, if you start to aware why, not even say you got to like someone, but why are they triggering you? And you feel that feeling like, why is this person really pissed? Like, why? You're giving them power, right? So I'm not going to go way off on all this, I'll just say that one, like if you like yourself or love yourself, you'll probably love other people. It'll be easier to love other people. If you don't like yourself, the things about yourself, then you're going to probably see things in other people that piss you off, and then you're just not going to. You're going to have to fake it, right? Instead of just genuinely. And there's things that I have to work on. Everyone, right? We're not sitting up on a mountaintop with our legs crossed and our fingers out here meditating. Like, this is daily life, right? So it's like that's the opportunity to grow and just work on things. So I wouldn't even go the step deeper beyond liking yourself, because you have to know what your identity is in, and I'll just leave it at that. So once you get your own identity secure in who you are, and you feel like, hey, yeah, I like myself, I'm loved, whatever, then it's easier to go the next layer deep, which is liking other people. So with that said, we can go to point number 1 that Dale makes, which is what is it to be interested in people?
Become genuinely interested in other people.
Yeah, this is funny because I don't know. This has been grinding my gears lately too. It's like all the cell phones, man. It's just we came from a generation where we didn't have them till we were in college, and even then, it probably wasn't even like it wasn't an everyday thing until probably 2012. So I was already 5 years after. Yeah, so I was already in my upper 20s, maybe. But like it's really sad when I think about it, dude. Like, there's a human being next to you, and we can't look them in the eyes or even interact with them, but we have to be on our phone. It could be your kid, it could be your spouse, it could be just a buddy in a car you're driving together with. And again, I'm not throwing rocks at anybody, because we all have struggle with this, I think, if we're human. But so I think that's kind of hurt. Like, to be genuinely interested, I think a lot of us don't know how to be genuinely interested anymore, because we maybe get bored, and I think that's a problem. So what I think could help with some of this, so not just sitting out here spewing, hey, what's wrong, right? Or, hey, be genuinely interested. Great. But I think one thing that would help is working on your focus, right? Like, either sitting in silence, you can call it meditation if you want, or just staring at something, practicing this like 1 to 5 minutes a day and not letting your eyes. Those are just practices, like practical practices to improve your focus and improve your ability to be curious and genuinely interested in others. So,
yeah, lock the damn phone up.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if I would get rid of this phone in 2 seconds if I could. And I'm still like, I'm not saying I can't. I'm still trying to figure out how to work that out, but it's like, just put it on dumb mode and leave it there. I think this phone is the damn devil.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. It makes me like, I'll be on walks and I purposely leave my phone at the house, because I was like, I don't even want to take it with. But I see everyone in my neighborhood walking, and like they have their phone strolling and scrolling is what I call it. It's like, it's really disheartening to see. It's like, dude, their dog is with them. It's beautiful. And like, they're just sitting on their phone, just like a robot. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, dude, you gotta detach a little bit from that. There's a time and place to use it if you want to, but man.
All right, I'm going to take number 2, smile.
Okay.
And I'm
You're good at that.
Little different twist on it. So obviously, smiling in person, I mean, it is what it is. You walk in somewhere, you're doing a drop in or whatever, you walk in with a smile on your face, people are going to be more receptive. I mean, that's pretty common sense. The little different twist I'm going to put on it is while you're cold calling and how it affects your tonality. So for me anyways, I only speak from my experience. If I'm standing up, I'm moving around the office, and I'm actually genuinely in a good mood, dare I say, smiling, my tonality is actually much better when I'm getting my cold outbound in than if I'm just like bitter and sitting down and hunched over and just in the trenches. So like how you physically show up affects how you show up on cold calls. What are your thoughts on that? That's my thesis.
No, I agree. There's a lot of companies. I don't know what one company I'd worked for. This was in college way back in early 2000s. Was like, they put like, hey, for the customer service people, smile when you talk to people, right? Like, because it does change, I think, everything else. You know what else is kind of cool if you ever want to get crazy when you're doing cold calls is like do like 2-3 push-ups and then make a call, like in between calls or like every 10 calls, because it's just that energy. You're just like, all right, you're feeling good, like a little workout high, so a little micro.
I hit putts. I have a practice green right in front of my desk, and so
Yep.
while I'm making calls, I'm hitting putts.
Absolutely, man.
All right.
Well, I think all that sounds great.
Remember that a person's name is the sweetest sound they'll ever hear. Quick story on that real quick. There was this guy back when I used to bartend, way back in the day. After I got done playing pro ball, I went back to school online at night when online education became a thing. During the day, actually. And then so I bartended at night. And there was this guy that came in, and he worked at a hotel downtown, and he could remember anybody's name. And that was his thing, is like being in the hospitality industry is like, if you can remember someone's name and say it back to them, so like you get their name and like, Jeff, well, what would you like? Yeah, how do you want your steak cooked, or whatever. And I remember that, and that's the first time I'd ever heard that, and that was probably 20 something years ago. And then since then, it just keeps showing up again and again, where if I'm interacting with someone, whether I'm buying a car or I'm, working with my insurance agent or whatever it is, other coaches, when someone just slips your name in, you're like, dang, that dude, you feel seen, right? Like they're paying attention. And so Dale talks about in the book is like everybody's favorite word is their own name. So if finding a way, and I think it goes back to being genuinely interested when you're talking with a prospect or meeting someone at a meeting or whatever, like how many times, at least I'm guilty of it, I'll go into a meeting, I'll know the decision maker's name, but let's say someone else is sitting in on the meeting or the gatekeeper who answers the phone or whatever. I don't remember their name, but I remember the decision maker's name. You know what I mean? It's like making it a point to just genuinely give a damn, and like listen to other people, use their name, remember who they are, like you said, because they are a human being. So
yeah, I'm notoriously bad at names. Like I'll meet people in the neighborhood, I feel so bad, and like I've met them like 2-3 times. I'm like, Chris, Jack, John. I'm like, so one's like, hey man, what's up? Like, because I forget, and it's like, it sucks because I know the person. Like we talk and I just got to repeat it. But in a business setting, I have a less hard time because I feel like you see it more, like email, call, the meeting set, whatever, like business cards. One thing what I always do going into a meeting though is like, if I'm on a Teams call, I write down the first names at the top of the call, at the top of my little notepad, just so I have them to, because like you said, sometimes first meeting, you're the decision maker, right? But then all of a sudden it's like he brings in his secretary or something, or the controller, and it's like you're in the conversation, you want to reference them, but you want to say, yeah, like you said. It's like, oh yeah, like Jeff said, it's like, so yeah, I suck at that one. I got to get better. Toria gives me crap all the time. And the hard part is I have a kind of a unique name. And so I feel like I get, people have it easy when trying to remember my name just because my name is a little different. But like, when someone's name is, John or Mike, and there's a million of them, it's tougher to remember for some reason. So that's just the excuse I tell myself as to why people seem to remember my name, but I can't remember theirs. So,
what's funny is I don't think your name is odd. I grew up with a couple different Micahs, but since you and I have been working together with the max revenue stuff, how many people that I've talked to that refer to your name as Mika?
Dude, I know people don't get
They're
it.
like, well, what does Mika think? Or, hey, so how does Mika make 40 calls? I'm like, Mika.
You know what's funny?
Mika is the new Blippy person on YouTube. Shout out to any parents, you know who that is.
Oh yeah, she's awesome. She got some good energy. Dude, this is funny. So speaking of this, I had made a cold call. You get through and like actually kind of had it turned into a first meeting, right? So everything's going well. And she's like, hey, send me something to my email. I was like, great. What's your email? She's like, it's my first name at blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I was sitting there like looking, and I'm like, how am I going to get this out of her, dude? And so
you say, spell that for me? Just
so
say spell it.
I say spell it for me, and it's K-I-N.
Oh, just making sure. You never know about these names. That is hilarious. K.
Yeah. So
that is a freaking dagger, bro. That's so good.
Dude, it was a good lesson though, because it was like, do you just be honest or you try to be like, I try to be Mr. Smooth and savvy, right? Like, I'm just gonna ask. And yeah, that caught me.
That is so good. That is
So
oh my god.
So moral of the story, always be honest. If you forget someone's name, I think the best thing is to do, like, don't try to sneak around it. Just be like, unless you got like maybe your wife with you in the room or something, like, hey, what's this guy's name? But other than that, just be like, hey, I totally forgot your name. I am so sorry. What is it again?
It's Tim,
Yeah.
bro. Tim or Kim. That's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, I was like,
That's
well,
so good.
KYM, I don't know.
KYM. I mean, you never know. Dude, that's so good. You got busted. And see, that's a perfect example of like, not trying to scratch us on the back or whatever, but like that's a story that some of these other guys can never say because they're not actually making calls or like doing the deal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I think that's
for
why
sure.
people, the 12 people who listen to us are super loyal because they're like, if they're in the trenches too, and that's only a story that someone who's actually doing the thing can tell.
Yeah.
So anyways, all right, moving on. Number 4, be a good listener. I mean, I don't feel like we need to beat that horse to death. It's just kind of like, oh shit, this guy just got hit. Motorcycle just fell over. Hold on.
Oh wow.
Are you okay? Hold on, dude. 1 second.
All right.
Okay. That guy hit you, or you just... Okay, you still there?
Yep.
All right, so this guy's either literally right. I'm recording in AT4 Studios. This guy literally just fell off his motorcycle right next to me. As I'm looking out the window, I'm not going to look at him. He's still there.
Like tipped over.
Yes. So I either think A, he's drunk because
Okay.
he couldn't get his motorcycle back standing up again. I had to help him. Or B, this is literally the first time he's ever rode his motorcycle. I'm looking at him right now. He can't figure out how to crank it.
How old is he?
He's probably about mid-30s. I think this guy probably stole this motorcycle and doesn't know how to ride a motorcycle. Okay. Anyways, moving on. I'm not being a very good listener. I think being a good listener is kind of obvious, right? Like just caring, paying attention, eye contact, taking notes. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, you'd think so. Number 5 was what? Focus on the conversation around others' interests.
Yep.
I think this one kind of goes back to just even the way that we do the proposals and the due diligence, like when you come back, and even first meetings, right? It all starts with them, and instead of like a song and dance about you or your agency or how great you are, it's hey, let's start this first time meeting you, man. Give me a 50,000 foot overview of your company. And I always like to ask, how did you start the company? Like, what was your motivation to start this thing? Tell me the background. That question alone always gets people's eyes to light up a little bit and gets them excited, I found. And then when we come back to do the due diligence presentation, it's, hey, this is everything we found about you, right? It's all them, and then like 5% about us at the end, or let them ask questions. But that's it. So I think that's kind of some practical things of how to implement, focusing on them and their interests and weaving that into.
Well, it's like, how do you know the right angle to even take, right, to win the business?